So the Miami Dolphins just announced that they're releasing Odell Beckham. And the team and the player said it's a mutual decision, but there's really no such thing as a mutual decision. He wasn't good anymore. He's not who he was with the Giants or even with Cleveland in the early years. He's a faded carbon copy. And when I think of Odell Beckham, and I feel like this is probably the last we'll see of him in the NFL, I don't actually think about the catch he made against Dallas. I don't think about him winning the Super Bowl and getting hurt. I think about him on an airplane talking shit to a passenger and bragging about how he'll be on a private jet, whatever, in a half hour. And I've covered so many people in sports and entertainment who don't understand that this life, generally, this lifestyle does not have permanence, and that you might be flying high today and you might have the disposable income to fly in a private jet, but eventually most of us wind up in coach. And I think Odell Beckham, from what I've seen of him, again, brilliant receiver in his very brief prime, is about to have a really rough wake-up call to being just another schlub. And the thing is, certain guys who play have the dynamic personality and also the good reputation to wind up having great careers in media afterwards. I mean, Shannon Sharpe is a great example. Everyone loves Shannon Sharpe, and he's had a really good career in media. In fact, Keyshawn Johnson was a pretty good example. A likable guy, except for early on, wound up in media. Richard Jefferson, Greg Olson. But Odell Beckham doesn't have that. He's not really well thought of. Like, he's a pain in the ass. He's a diva. Again, I think he's going to be haunted by that moment. And we all have bad moments, but there was something about him saying to some guy, I'm going to be on a private jet. That sticks with me. Because I think, again, it's easy to be brash and confident and dismissive of others when you're rolling along. But when that roll ends, it is a harsh, harsh downfall. And I'll end it by saying this. I had many athletes who I covered in my career who were dicks. And more than a handful of them, a decade later, reached out to me asking if I'd write their books. That's a true story. And I'm not saying I'm anything, but do I remember the way they treated me when I just needed a quote? Yeah, I do. And that's kind of how it goes.